Whoa, I gotta switch this around. Table of knowledge is full. It's full. Let's get this set up. I got a beverage here. Make sure I got everything I need before we get rolling. Yeah, it should be good. ALL Firewood, what's up? Thank you for joining. Thank you. This is a little bit of a... Tonight's live feed is gonna kind of a special one. It's on a subject that I think any of us, most of us that you guys follow us, as you can see in the title, it's about the mentality of why logging is so bad. Why everybody thinks, not everybody, but a lot of uneducated people or just people that aren't sure of it or just the people that, whatever, why they think logging is so bad. So tonight's live feed is on that, just that. Why I feel people have such a negative outlook towards what we do for a living. Now, so when I was sitting there thinking about this, and what made this happen was, see, I wrote stuff down. Someone said write stuff down. I wrote stuff down. So you have to work with me. Once I get rolling on this, I'm gonna kind of just, blow through it. I'll try to answer questions. If I can't, I'm gonna be pretty focused on this. So. Yeah, Steve wants to know where Becca is. He's trying to find Becca. Becca's recently subscribed. He wants to get back on here. So what got this going was, so there was all this talk of the HB 2020, all that shit in Oregon and all that other stuff, and the HB 2007, and the green weenies and all this crap in Oregon. So there's a bunch of stuff that was floating out there of how logging's bad for the environment and all these other things. And I started thinking to myself, common knowledge is why. I know why I think it's not bad for the environment. The complete opposite, as a matter of fact. But I figured I'm going to do a little research and find out just, why they feel it's so bad and what are the replacements for, the source of materials that we provide in the industry. So I started digging and I found some pretty interesting stuff. It's pretty neat. As for the HB 2020, whatever, I'm not talking about that anymore. They had this other bill, this 2007 one. I'm sure a lot of you guys did diesel emissions crap. And I started looking into diesel emissions and diesel fuel and why they say it's so bad. And I actually found there's a couple articles about how diesel contains more carbon than gas, but since it's more efficient fuel, it has less CO2 emissions. They tend to be lower. Now, obviously, you can turn motors up and pour the fuel to them and do some things that are going to, make them dump the black smoke, like tractor pull kind of stuff, or just, hey, if that's how you want to run your truck too, but whatever. But as a whole, when it's run in, similar vehicles, at the right settings, it tends to be lower in CO2 emissions for diesel. So I think that's a crock of crap. Out the window that goes. So I started asking. There's a lot of things, replacements for the green industry. A big one now is they want battery powered cars, lithium batteries, huge lithium batteries. So I started looking into the lithium batteries and what's, is there negative effects? Because they all talk about what the great effects are. Negative effects of a lithium battery, what I've come up with so far, they're not really good for the environment. They take, to make a good lithium battery, like the ones that are put in cars and things like that, they consume a tremendous amount of energy in the process of making them. As for the lithium itself, the mineral that is used in the making of the battery, I guess the way they mine it is there's huge salt flats and they drill it and they drill down into these large salt flats and pull out this briny solution, and it's held in holding ponds on the surface where the water evaporates off. in certain places, and there's other places where the mineral itself is dissolved because it's mixed with many other things, usually salt. It's dissolved into these ponds, and the thing that gets to be a tax is approximately 500,000 gallons of water is needed per ton to to do what they have to do to get that ton of lithium. And where it's really becoming an issue is these, other countries where they're doing it is 65%. This was in Chile. 65% of these locals farmers' water is being used up to just make lithium now. Because my phone right here, that's a lithium battery addiction right there. The car batteries, the lithium powered cordless tools, everything's lithium there. So it's chewing up tons of water. Researchers in Nevada found impacts on fish because there's lithium in Nevada, I guess they were mining. They found impacts in fish as far as 150 miles downstream of a lithium processing plant. More dangers are potential spilling of chemicals used to produce lithium, such as hydrochloric acid is a big one, because I guess you have to break this down to get the mineral out of it. There was an article that I read about this. It's called The Spiraling Environmental Cost of Our Lithium Battery Addiction. That was if you search that on the internet, it'll come up. I was trying to just going through this pretty quick, so I was trying to get you sources I'm getting this thing. The big thing about batteries is the cost to recycle them. And this is where I've found it's big, very big. It costs more to recycle than it does to create a new one. So obviously they're pitching old ones. What happens is when you throw an old battery away, it starts to undergo a photochemical reaction as they decompose. And this reaction causes emissions of greenhouse gases, very high ones actually. To recycle a lithium battery profitably, the following is required. So in the lithium batteries, you have lithium, lead, nickel, and cadmium. And there's other stuff too, but these are the major high ones. To get the lithium out of the battery, you need subsidy needed, which means you need money to make it profitable. You can't take it out of there profitably. The lead you can take out profitably. The nickel, you need a subsidy. The cadmium, you also need a subsidy. So where's the subsidies usually come from? Comes from the government, whatever. I feel like you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. That's just my opinion though. Okay, it takes more energy to produce an electric car than it does a conventional car. So those were my thoughts on the lithium. The lithium's kind of I think they're an avenue, but they're not the solution. Now, let's get on to the other one. You ask people, what are we going to use in place of wood, or what are we going to do here? And this is a big one. Everyone says, well, we'll use plastic. Plastic's the latest and greatest thing. They make it from natural gas. Well, natural gas is a fossil fuel. It's derived from oil, which is the fossil fuel. It's complex hydrocarbon is where plastic comes from. And this is the dirt you can dig up on plastic is incredible. The biggest thing about plastic is it never goes away. It takes forever to break down, let alone completely decompose. Because for this reason, it doesn't decompose because very few plants or organisms derive their energy from complex hydrocarbons, which plastics are made out of. Most commonly used plastics, like the ones we deal with every day, I don't have anything sitting right here I can hit you with real quick, but plastic water bottles, things like that, they don't mineralize. They don't break back into what they were before they started. They just break into smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller in pieces. The only way I can think of to do this is like if you took a sheet of glass and you ground it up really, really fine until you get to like a fluff. It just keeps breaking up smaller and smaller and smaller. In a landfill, typical plastic takes up to 1,000 years to break down. I don't know if it's completely or just to break down. Chlorinated plastics can release harmful chemicals into the soil that get into the groundwater and all these other, every other avenue, because it's absorbed into the dirt itself, and then it's through the dirt passes the water. Water takes this stuff that's, released into it, and who knows where it ends up then. So that was a bad one there. A lot of people say, okay, let's burn that plastic. We can create energy from it. Well, it's not necessarily a good thing either. By burning plastic, you release horrible chemicals such as hydrochloric acid, sulfur dioxide, dioxins, furans, and heavy metals. I mean, nasty stuff. Make you think twice before you chuck that, plastic pop bottle in the fire, right? So, and as for recycling, it depends on the price of natural gas and crude oil. So, when natural gas and crude oil is up, they don't bother recycling it because it's cheaper to produce new than it is to make old, to reprocess the old. And that's what I'm starting to find out with a lot of these materials. There's 8 million metric tons of plastic enter the ocean every year. There's tons of articles about this. That's on top of the 150 million metric tons that already exist in the ocean. It's just floating around. It's just not like the whole piece, but broken up pieces, small stuff. It's crazy, 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 crazy. In my opinion, what plastic is to our society and our earth is like a giant ink-based mushroom stamp on the forehead of Mother Earth. I mean, it is there forever. It's not going away. Excuse my analogy, but I figured that was one a lot of people could understand. All right, so all that bad crap away. I want to get into the part that we like. Why we think wood is better. Why I think wood is better, and some of the stuff I dug up. The biggest reason with wood, let's say we use wood as a form of energy. Let's start using wood in our power plants. And they say, well, it releases a lot of carbon dioxide. Well, let me tell you what. Trees, wood fiber in its original state, not like engineered wood, not like plywood and everything where they introduce glues and chemicals, but just straight wood. The carbon dioxide released when wood is burned is balanced by the fact that the carbon was taken up by the tree from the air, therefore making it carbon neutral. So the only carbon that a tree will ever, carbon dioxide, carbon, emissions, the only stuff it ever releases is the stuff that it ever absorbs. So it's basically the circle. You're not creating new carbon dioxide. It's just the cycle of what has already existed. Paper, the wonderful paper that no one uses anymore because of the invention of email and everything, and how much we're going to save the world with that one. I still like paper stuff. I mean, paper bills. I like writing paper checks because I have records and trust it. But that's just me. I'm an old soul. Paper takes 2 to 6 weeks to break down in a landfill when it's done right. Now I'm saying in a landfill. Landfills around here, it's in layers. They put it in layers and they'll pump fresh air into one side of that layer, and out the other air they pull the methane off it, because without oxygen you won't get things to decompose. So just let that be known. I mean, wood is a continuously renewable resource. It grows back. I'm seeing it in my area. I don't know about other people's areas. I know down south, I think Logger Brandon told me down south they're on like 17-year cycles when they start, from the time they plant a plantation of pine to the time they start thinning it. I believe he told me it was 17 years. Around here, I have some videos of huge white pines we were cutting, 65 years old. Huge red oaks they're cutting, 70 years old. And I mean, this was horrible land that was completely turned over as a strip mine. So it's just garbage dirt, and these awesome trees are growing in it. So in a human's lifespan, we are creating big timber, not just fiber timber, but big timber. I don't know the numbers for on the West Coast, how fast they go through it out there. I was trying to find that. There's a lot of mixed numbers there, because I guess it depends on on what side of the slope it's growing, east facing or west facing, the altitude. There's a lot of things that played with how fast it grows out there. Obviously, logging lessens fire hazards both in the crown and on the forest floor. You thin the crown out, especially in like conifers. You lessen the chance of spread from tree to tree to tree because you have a little more space in there. You clean up the understory from logging too. A lot of times they go in like this crap that just happened in California. Everything burned out there because the green weenies wouldn't let anybody log nothing. Well, now you have all this dead and dry stuff that fell on the ground that was just never removed because the forests were never thinned. Now you just created this huge pile of matches just waiting to get ignited. And when it did, we all saw what happened. That was very, very unfortunate. I mean, that sucks. No one wants to see things like that happen. So, and another thing you're noticing is those forests are not growing back like they expected. They burned off because they weren't managed, and now they're not coming back. And there's I read some articles about how that's becoming quite the issue too. Here's an interesting fact too I can come up with, and this was in an article. A younger forest sequesters between 60 to 70 million metric tons of carbon per year, more than an older growth forest. So a young forest is taking in more carbon dioxide than an old forest. So why isn't all this cutting promoted? I'm not saying let's clear cut everything, but you're saying that it's bad and you're getting rid of the trees. I mean, that it's, now where's all this carbon going to go? Well, right to the new trees, my friend. And not only is the carbon before going to go there, but more than what was before. That was pretty neat. I found that to be pretty interesting too. That was in an article called Why New Forests Are Better at Sequestering Carbon Than Old Ones. It was by Morgan Erickson Davis, is in the Pacific Standard. That's a good article. You should, if you get a chance, look it up and read it. I don't know how to do the links on the live feeds and shit, so just search it. It comes up. Wood for power plants. Okay, we're going to use wood chips to power plants, to make steam, to make electricity. A lot of people say you can't do it. And there's some out this way. There's one up in the New England states I know. There's a couple around. It's a great thing because wood is domestic, traditional, and a renewable resource that is locally available. It is CO2 neutral. We just talked about that a minute ago. So any carbon dioxide it emits is just the carbon dioxide it has taken in. So there's no downfall in that. I mean, the carbon released is part of the natural cycle. It can be positive effects for forest management also. Now you have an outlet for all that junk and all that garbage and all that, those things that, you have, like around us, we have a lot of companies that, not a lot, and it's getting lower, it's getting better, but there's a few companies like that one there was that one thing they cut grade only. I mean, and I guess it's to no fault of them. I mean, that's what they're set up to do. They only cut the grade, but now something like a wood-fired power plant will give an avenue for all that, give an incentive for someone to cut that pulpwood or to cut that, whatever, the garbage out of their property and to make their, their stand better. It is, it's just, I think that would be, why are we not doing no more? That's like a no-brainer to me. And the best part is your supply grows back. It's not like you dug the coal out of the ground, which I'm a big advocate of coal. I like coal. If it's done responsibly, dig it and burn it, man. But it comes back and grows back. I don't know why these people don't understand this. So, in conclusion, all that crap aside, why do I feel that people have such a bad look on logging? Why do people so negative towards logging? I think it's just a personal, selfish reason. They don't like how it looks. People don't like to see clear cuts. They don't like to see ruts, and they don't like to see mud and stumps and brown leaves when you cut the trees and bare hillsides. But the sad thing is, they need to open their eyes. I see a clear cut. I don't see, oh man, that looks so bad. You know what I mean? I look at, man, that hunting's going to be awesome over there. All this food can cover for all them deer and grouse and rabbits and whatever, moose or wherever you live. That is just, that created a home for so many animals by what they just did there. Now, don't get me wrong, you should do it responsibly. I'm not saying to go in there and just rape and pillage. I mean, any logger with a conscience is going to go back and fill his ruts in and water bar his roads, and clean up what he can do. It's just, it's, this stuff is so common. I mean, it's such knowledge that it frustrates me to see how people can be so ignorant to the fact that logging is so bad. I don't why it's not. It's really not. I just got marooned on the job I'm on today. A fellow was upset that I'm cutting all the trees down. It's like, man, I'm not the guy to be upset with. You be upset with who made the choice to get them cut down. I'm the hammer that pounds the nail. I'm not the blueprint that tells the nail where to be. So, I don't know. Those are just some views. That's stuff I looked up, and everything I'm not necessarily saying those were facts, but I looked it up, 3 different places and kind of found it in 3 different places, and then I would post it. I'd write it down. So there was a lot of other stuff that, I know it could go either way, whether or not I tried to get the middle of the road. I wasn't trying to bash all the other stuff or make logging look good. I think it does it on its own, honestly. We in the United States are sitting on one of the most unique and diverse forest, groups of forests. We go from the conifers that grow incredibly on the West Coast. I mean, it is like a lumber creating greenhouse, to the hardwoods we have over here from the Midwest all the way up into the New England states. And then you get down south, they have great mixtures of hardwoods all the way through the softwoods. I mean, it's just like, we'd be fools not to take advantage of something, because it benefits us in so many ways. It benefits us because it regrows. It makes the forest healthy, absorbs more carbon dioxide as a not young forest. It creates tons of jobs. There you go, politicians. Jobs. We're going to do some wood-fired power plants. Now you have all these other crews of people that will have a steady supply or a steady demand for what they supply, so they can start to afford to pay people to help them a lot more competitively. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. So, I rambled about that quite long enough. I'm glad. I hope you guys took something useful away from this. If I bored you, I apologize. Here's another interesting thing, too. I don't recycle my paper and my cardboard. I'm going to show you something. I read this one up. I missed this. Whoops, wrong light. So, I got this little bin right here. Hold on, let me reverse this. This is my bin of cardboard. So anytime I get something with cardboard, I throw it in that bin. Or anytime I have something of paper, I throw it in that bin. And I take it outside in the summertime, spring, and I throw it on the burn pile and I light it up. And I sit there and I enjoy beer and I watch the beautiful thing that is a fire. There's something like mythical about that. It takes us back to caveman days. You could stare at a fire for hours. I don't know why. In the wintertime, I jam it in a wood stove and burn it and turn it into energy that creates heat, that heats my house, along with the wood that I cut. People say, well, why don't you recycle that paper? Blah, 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 blah. Because when I just looked up on the internet, it actually costs more, and it is more polluting to recycle paper than it is to create new paper. You believe that? I never thought that. I was like, holy crap. That was pretty wild. So burn your cardboard, burn your Amazon boxes, burn your old mail, junk mail, new mail, all that cardboard, cereal box, pizza box, which I found out you can't even recycle pizza boxes because of the grease in them. They don't recycle glass anymore because it's not profitable. Around here they have a little recycling thing, and they what's it called? They gave us like a little list of things you can't put in your recycle bin. About the only thing I throw in there is, I don't even know what I throw in there anymore. It would be just like a laundry detergent bottle every once in a while. So, like I said, I hope you guys can take something useful from all this. KFS Blazeman logging channel. No, buddy, you gotta watch it over. That was kind of a sarcastic remark. That boy, everything that can be burned is burned. Cause the great thing when you burn a piece of paper or wood, you can take those ashes and mix them into your garden, plant your vegetables, and you can grow stuff in it. It's great. And I know a lot of the clearing jobs they do around here, if they're able to, if the fruit, these local municipalities and whatever you want to call it will let them, they'll burn a lot of the stuff. I would love to see that, Nate. We got to go through there and take a tour someday. I know I missed a lot. I missed a lot, man. So, my take is, like I said, I just think these people are selfish and thinking they don't like how it looks. And by no means do I think we should log everything. Hey, thanks, buddy. You want to set some stuff aside because areas, some, patches of trees I've walked in are just impressive, and you'd be like, it's a damn shame to almost see these cut, you know what I mean? But at the same time, there's so many pieces. Like the one I'm in now, part of it was incredible. Some of that timber is incredible. The section I'm in now, it's all like red oak and black oak. They're all rotten and doty in the butt, busted up, screwed up, messed up, sick, dying, dead, or all the above. And it's like you should have been cut 50 years ago, literally 50 years ago. The veneered buyer came and looked at the stuff in the yard, and they said the average age of the tree on the property I cut was 280 or 275 years old. It was incredible. And some of them white oaks weren't but 2 feet in diameter, so that's a lot of growth rings per inch, man. Wow. So that was pretty interesting. I'm not well liked on this job anymore. The neighbor's pissed, and he should be. They're cutting right up to his line. He's got a beautiful house. He's a great dude. He's a retired guy. I don't know if he used to work in the gas industry. He's always hunting and fishing. So, he's cool with me, I got to say, but boy, he's not a happy camper with the developer and all this. And I'd want to just get away from this land clearing stuff. I don't much care for it myself. So, a lot of the trees I've been cutting the past couple days are hard leaning stuff, bad leaning stuff, swinging stuff that's rotten. It's had me on edge. I've been really stressed out and just, it's dangerous shit. I haven't been videoing a lot of it because a lot of it is just, I'm really trying to hold my mouth straight. So I am a logging company, KFS. High End Hardwoods, buddy. I contract cut, skid, buck, and load. So basically they pay me. Someone else buys the timber and I hack it, whack it, and stack it. Where are you going with that, Wayne? You're out in, yeah, that's right. I know where you are. I remember now. Chris Kaiser, I got your hat there. I got to get it mailed, Bubba. I gotta get it mailed. It's so hot and I don't think about anything. When I come home, I just want to get into a cold shower and lay down. Shut her down early today. I can't hire nobody right now, buddy. Work comp's too high for me. That's why I work by myself. So, the way the market is, I don't want to grow none either. Ooh. Dead and wind whip. But hey, it already is, Kev. Damn. I guess you probably was nice and cool. Nate said, I was the best employee you ever had, Nate. No. No, I go over and help Nate from time to time. Nate's a good egg, man. I like to help out whenever I can. It was mulch day here today. Ground plastic doesn't work too well. Ooh. See? We can make it into mulch. There's another one for that plastic. It's like George Carlin says, we're entering a new paradigm. The earth plus plastic. Did you 1099 someone to get out of them crappy job? I don't know. Chris. George O'Brien, hi, buddy. So I think I'll just burn my cardboard and my coal because I haven't been to coal. That pisses my neighbors off. Smells like rotten eggs. I just fire up the coal, man. Shovel it in. Cut my trees and watch them grow and cut them again. One of the first pieces of property I ever logged. I have videos of the second time we did it. We cut it once. In 2004, we cut it again in 2014. And it's ready to be cut again on another, one section is ready to be cut again. First time we removed a lot of cherry and some red oak. Some of the red oak had red rot. We cleaned it out. The other stuff exploded growing fast. And then the second time we cut it, we went through and hit the cherry again and got the what did we get? The ash that was all dying. And now he's got a bunch of hickory and some more red oak. Eli, thanks for stopping, man. I appreciate it, buddy. Have fun on that new dozer, man. That's funny you said. I got to get up early too, bud. I got to, I should really go to bed. It's going to be hot tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Like I said, I hope it didn't bore you. If you found anything useful in that, share that video. Hopefully it'll help some people. I don't think people just realize how bad some of the other stuff is that are so tall alternatives. I'm not saying logging's the only way, but I don't think it's by any means something we should just cut out of the picture altogether. I just think we as the community are like what's the word? Forgotten few. Y'all take care. MLH, Ohio Logger, Skidder, Kev, Eli, Steve, Wayne Tharp. There's so many that I forgot. Y'all, this video by Al. We'll see you later. Look, videos. I got the Wood Miser, buddy. Y'all take care. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful 4th of July. I got a couple videos I can throw up for you. Swinging nasty trees off the road and, just all kinds of fun, screwed up shit. So you guys maybe enjoy that. I don't know what I'm going to get into. Y'all take care. David Golan, you have a good night, everybody. Thank you for everything. I appreciate all of you. I really do. Come on. My big finger won't hit the button. What's going on?